Hello, greetings to you all, and you are very welcome to this episode of Community Voices Uganda here on Civic Space TV. And my name is Philip Muliisa. On this episode, we are having a conversation around road carnage, road crashes, and accidents that are in. And certainly, we want to make an assessment of where we are, why we are here, but most importantly, draw recommendations on what actually can be done. We've had conversations around this subject, and seemingly the challenge keeps rising in the country. And as the citizens of this country, we have a duty to make sure we try and find solutions to the challenges we face as a people. My name is Philip Muliisa, and before I get into that deep conversation, I first of all want to welcome back university students from across the country, 25 universities in Uganda that participated in season 5 of the inter-university debates organized by the Center for Constitutional Governance at the Africana Hotel in Kampala. Congratulations to the winners, and thank you all for participating. But also I want to say that early this morning we have news from our neighboring country, Tanzania, that the incumbent President Samia Suluhu Hassan has won the election with a 97.66% from the election, and she has been declared winner in that election. And certainly, we wait to see what continues to unfold in that country, especially that they've been facing a bit of protests, many people dead, many arrests, and we hope calm can be restored in that country. But again, speaking about calm, there is another very untenable situation in another neighboring country in the north. There is Sudan, where there is war going on, and understandably, a lot of people have died in that country. Anything between 150,000 to 200,000 people are dead since the start of the war in 2023, but also we are looking at about 15 million people displaced. And yesterday we saw a statement from the African Union appointing the president of Uganda to go ahead and be a mediator in that conflict and make sure that General Hamdan Dagalo of the Rapid Support Forces and General Burhan can find a solution to that conflict, and hopefully peace and calm can be restored in that country. The other point I want to speak about is the flooding in Kampala, and certainly just the past 2-3 days have been painful for business people in Kampala, especially those that work in the areas close to Nachivugo Channel. And when you look around, there's been water flooding, businesses, property worth billions of shillings destroyed, and whole businesses crushed down. And hopefully we think that government should come out and play a part in making sure the persons that were affected by this tragedy downtown Kampala get some assistance and they're able to continue surviving and thriving in the business sector of this country. That said, back to our topic, road carnage. Joining me on this conversation is a panel of distinguished citizens who have specific and special knowledge about this subject, and I will invite them to greet us before we continue into the depth of what we actually have to talk about here. I'll start with you, Mr. Sam Bambanza. Mr. Sam is the Executive Director at Safe Transport and Survivors Support Uganda. Sam, greetings and welcome to the conversation.
Good morning, viewers. Thank you for hosting me on this talk show to discuss a vital conversation that would help and save our Ugandans on the roads. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, Sam, and certainly we should have a very good conversation. Moving on, we too have Mr. Isaac Katabazi. Isaac is the chairperson, Region Trackers and Transformation Initiative. Isaac, greetings. Welcome to the conversation.
Thank you. For collection, I'm the chairman for Regional Trackers Transformation Initiative. Thank you for hosting me. I'm privileged to be on the panel with my senior, Sam Bambanza.
Thank you so much for joining us. And we also have Mr. Goodluck Musinguzi. Goodluck is a journalist and is a very regular panelist on our conversation. Goodluck, greetings and welcome to the conversation.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good morning, everyone. I thank God. It's a new day. We wake up with rain, much as you said, it's causing havoc. I saw some pictures in Kweni, in Buko, in Kabale, in Rwanda near Windy National Park. Actually, some part of Windy National Park is not accessible. By this morning, they are trying to do whatever it takes so that tourists don't get stuck in out there. So we thank God for life. Thank you for having me today.
Yes, thank you so much. And it is indeed good that you talk about the rain and how it is playing out in the different parts of the country. Just this morning, I saw a communication from the Ministry of Works and Transport. There is a mudslide in some parts of Kabale, like you mentioned, and many other parts. You have a flooding of channels, rivers, and so on. And the situation can be restored to normal and people are able to continue doing their business. But most importantly, again, appreciating the media that has tried to make sure this information and the situation keeps being brought to the attention of people, but also government to make sure action can be taken. And largely that takes us into the conversation of the challenges we've seen in the recent past between government and specific media houses. And hopefully there can be harmony between those two partners in this state of Uganda, and we continue receiving the services we are supposed to receive from the two. Back to Road Carnage. And I want to start with you, Mr. Bambanza. We have had a conversation around this subject before, and since then, the numbers, the figures, the magnitude, the nature of accidents, crashes that are happening on Ugandan roads. First of all, the numbers are going up, but two, when you look at how they are happening, it is very terrible. I want to ask, as you paint for us a picture of what it actually is now, why does it look the way it is looking at such a time when we should expect people to have more information about this? We expect drivers to know what to do. We expect government to be enforcing rules and regulations in the road. Why do we find ourselves in such a position? Yes, Mr. Bambanza.
Thank you very much, Phillip, for hosting me, and my colleague Isaac Katabazi. And good to meet Musinguzi virtually. It is very unfortunate that we continue to lose innocent lives of Ugandans. And last year, according to the police report, that is official report that we normally use, we registered more than 5,000 fatalities, and then more than 25,000 those who are injured. Remember, those are statistics that are captured by police, especially those who die on spot. But those who die when they have been admitted in hospital 1 week, 2 weeks, after 1 month, those one are not captured. Those are normally captured by Ministry of Health because they are registered in the mortuary, and also WHO report. And that's why you normally find that the police report has a discrepancy with the WHO report because there is no fallback or follow-up on those who have been admitted. So the 5,000 is a huge number. That is almost like 5 schools, UPE schools, each with 1,000, 1,000. And I don't know how many would be number of if we could quantify into number of buses. Each, if we assume that each bus is transporting 62 passengers, that means about 81 buses. Those were fatalities. Those who died, you can imagine lining up 80 buses on the road. So that is how big the situation is. Most cases, we have lost the pedestrians. That is the biggest number, and motorcycle riders. Pedestrians is as a result that Uganda as a country is a walking country. Most of people walk. We also walk from our country where we come from. We have been walking. As we walk to the markets, we walk to school, and even here in Kampala, when you look at these people, the people who stay in Zambia, Karerwe, Chuburi, all people walk, Nakawa, all people walk. The problem is that most of our roads are very narrow and they are not lit. Then motorcycle riders also was the second, was the biggest, largest share that contributed the number of fatalities. You are all aware that almost about 46 to 53% of recent weekly and monthly road fatalities in several reporting period by police are as a result of border borders. And border borders have taken over the public transport, especially in urban centers, because they are very flexible, easy, and easy to maneuver the jam, the traffic jam, and even cheap compared to other transport services. It is also unfortunate that we have also lost the number of passengers, especially on the recent Kampala Guru Highway, where we had the head-on collision in this month, where the two buses were overtaking and collided on head-on, triggering multiple vehicle pileup and very high death toll. This illustrates, or this shows that overtaking on a single carriage highway at a heavy or high speed is very dangerous. And I think the issue where the police is doing or government is doing investigation, they don't normally say that the road was narrow. I don't know why they don't mention that. Is it because they investigate themselves and they know that surely these roads are on the highway are very narrow and they don't mention it? Otherwise, the issue of head-on collision, it means it's a sign that the roads are narrow, the roads are not safe, the roads have potholes, and that's why we normally have head-on collision. But if we had like expressways, where you find that we have roads Kampala to Guru, on one side we have 4 lanes, and another side we also have 4 lanes, you avoid head-on collision. But we have the single carriage, whereby if you veer off when maybe you are dodging a pothole, of course now you have to be able to knock the incoming the vehicle. We also had, you remember this year, we also had the Northern Bypass, Uganda Crane bus, which collided with border, and the Northern Bypass has also become a very a black spot road. People fear it, and even now it is full of thieves. We also, the same year, we also had Bukwe district, where one of the bus, where we had the bus that left several people dead and injured, where police cited also reckless driving and overtaking. You remember it caught fire. And at the moment, we also running, the fire started from the tires. Currently, Stasu with other members, including Isaac, we are running a tire safety campaign. I think next time you can give us an opportunity to discuss with you how the tires, which has a very big impact on safety, is neglected, because the tires is the one that that is on the road. So if you have fake tires, substandard tires, then it means the bus can't be very safe. However much it is in good mechanical condition. We also have seen issues that most of the road users or motorcycle users, the low helmet use. Most of people don't have helmets, and I think even some of our panelists here, very few have the helmets. And then also protective gears. Protective gears here means that how are you dressed if you're on a motorcycle or you're a rider? Sometimes people you find when they are.
All right, thank you so much, Sam, for that submission. I think the very last bit of your submission has been affected a little bit by the network, but you gave us a very good picture of what the situation looks like, but most importantly, how we find ourselves in this position. And one of those things you talk about is, for example, the narrowness of roads and how actually no one talks about this whenever there is a problem of crashes on our roads that keep killing people, keep destroying property, people losing their parts of their body and so on. But thank you so much. And I want to hear from you, Mr. Katabazi, as we try to clear the challenge that has come in Mr. Bambanza's sound here. What are those challenges? What are those reasons? Because we've had many times when you've had Mr. Bambanza here tell us that many of the police reports usually point to reckless driving. They usually point, it is on the side of the driver. And I want to find out, first of all, is it actually true that most of these accidents, it is the drivers at fault? And if so, what actually leads these drivers into driving the way they drive, knowing it could lead to accidents at any time? Yes, Mr. Katabazi.
Thank you, Philip, and good morning once again. Totally, I think I would disagree when you say that most of the accidents or most of the crashes, as it's called now, is due to drivers' negligence. I think we should all know what causes the crash. It's either the infrastructure, which is the road, the vehicle, which is on the road when it's not in proper position to be on road, or happen to be that it has some breakdown which has not been noticed, and then the driver comes last. In this aspect, when you say that normal is the driver who is behind every crash, that's where I disagree with you. We have to know, everybody here, that even the infrastructure, the roads which we are using now, Bambanza has already mentioned them, are also not favorable to a driver. And still again, I would also say for this inspection of vehicles, I know it's also going to be targeted politically, that I can expect, but it would also be of much value added to avoid what? To avoid crashes. Then when we mention about drivers, me, I'm a truck driver, I'm a driver, and I'm also a truck driver leader. In that aspect, how do we have drivers? Look at my fraternity as a trucker. How does one become a truck driver? Is there maybe a school where one goes and starts to learn to become a truck driver? Do we have that option? It's no. Where we normally get it to be, or we normally become drivers, is either through a garage, and then you start as a mechanic, you drop the mechanic, and then you become a turnman, you upgrade, you become tomorrow what? A driver. Have you gone through all the other skills, the defensive ones, so that you can become a real driver on the road? It so applies even to the private PSVs, the passenger service vehicles. How do they become drivers to carry the 14 or the 80 or the 60 people to be put in their hands? Do we have that school to take us through to become one? We only have that each and every year, maybe after 3 years, we are renewing our licenses. and that becomes maybe like a, I would say, I don't want to use that word, but still again, we are becoming, to the government, we are giving the government money, like taxes of renewing our licenses. But is there any way that the government is giving us back as a refresher courses? Do we get them? Yeah. And in the CSOs, are they also ready to have that money to take us through the refresh courses? When you happen to hear that even to want to have a certificate of defensive, you have to pay almost 700,000. How many people can afford to go for that course of 700,000? And by the time, I think that's around 2 or 3 weeks. In those 3 weeks, the driver has to be maybe full-time at school, and then he needs also to be earning. He has people to be looking after. Who's there to cater for those people by the time the driver is at school? We have to look at all aspects before even judging the driver.
In other words, Mr. Katabazi, what you are telling us is, in your view, one of the biggest challenges we are facing in our driving industry or in our transport industry is actually related to the training of the persons that are in charge of the transport system. Is that what you're saying?
Phillip, I would recommend that. I would recommend it 100%. And everybody on this panel knows it. Sam knows it. The CSO knows it. You, if you're a driver, tell me, Phillip, how did you become a driver? Did you go through all these trainings? And still again, for us who are maybe lucky enough that we normally go out of Uganda, other roads out of Uganda, we know what we are talking about. But still again, do we have platforms to put them out? We don't. Unless otherwise, when I get a privilege that like you hosting me, that's when I can even air it out that, guys, in Kenya, they are doing this. In Rwanda, they are doing this. If we are saying narrow roads, do you know that even Rwanda has narrow roads than Uganda? But why is it not like in Uganda? Do you know that even Tanzania has very bad roads than even in Uganda at some points? But why is it in Uganda this much? Kenya with good roads does also have even more numbers than Uganda of crashes. But they have a lot of good roads. The problem is also discipline on the road. Discipline itself. Do our people know the rights of coming to the road? Look at an example of the border borders. How does the border become a border rider on the road? In fact, even in a jam where he sees that even a trailer is still on the go and stop, he tries to pass under it recklessly. And he's thinking someone is going to see me passing under the trailer because there is that gap under the trailer. This is all discipline on the road. I think we have to emphasize more especially discipline than any other thing.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Katabazi, for that. And Goodluck, this brings me to you. You see, discipline, Mr. Katabazi has told us, for example, the concept of borders passing below trucks because they want to beat traffic jam. And this is daily practice in Kampala here. But I don't know whether you've seen, there are videos making grounds on social media. There's a specific one where a particular bus is overtaking in a very sharp corner. And just after it crosses through, there is a truck coming from the opposite direction. And many of the times we've had bus accidents, we've been told that it was a result of rogue driving. It was a result of persons wanting to take over from the wrong positions on the road at a wrong speed. And I want to hear from you, Goodluck. First of all, the mind behind this kind of driving. Why would drivers choose to drive in such a way when they are very well aware of the challenges that would come out of such conduct on the road? Yes, Goodluck.
Thank you very much. It's a very big concern in our country. But for me, let me talk. I don't know. Nobody has talked about Fika Salama, the solution that was brought by the police or government. if you remember, Masaka Road had a carnage of over 2,000 deaths each year. And it was just so bad. People came up with so many things, that there are ghosts on the road, that the tarmac is so slippery, all kinds of things. And then they put Fika Salama, and I think they went on reducing a few roadblocks, but there's a time, I think, from Kampala to Masaka, I counted around 16. And everybody would know that in front there is a roadblock, and people started moving slowly. Ministry of Health every Christmas has been deploying around 50 ambulances based at Masaka Regional Referral. But interestingly, for the last 2 years, 2 or 3 years, you can't believe that when the enforcement worked, that also on this other side, we have not had major accidents in that period like we had before. So I think it takes me back to what Mr. Katabazi has been saying, the issue of discipline. I think we're a country that wishes good things. We wish to have good roads, we talk about skyscrapers, we talk about development in other countries. I don't want to say we archaic people, but there is a way our behaviors don't resonate with what we say. And so for me, that one becomes a very big danger. The other day, I was somewhere in Kampala, and somebody was standing, just knocked me. And this was a lady. And all she said was, sorry, and drove off, ran away. And because, I looked and laughed, and I was like, okay, I'll go, maybe another day. There is another time a lady knocked me while she was on phone. I thought she had seen that she had knocked me. She kept driving, almost pushing me off the road. Until when I said, what? And people thought maybe there was going to be an altercation. I just asked her to go back very well. And the good thing, her vehicle, there were these small vehicles. So I just let her go. But the discipline part of it, and like they have talked about the training part of issue, is that one, I have also another challenge with government drivers. We know that the silence had been stopped. I don't know why they have come back again, but you see aggressiveness on the road. You literally want to kill people. And therefore, I ask myself, when you leave home, you are going to go on the road. Do you go with the mind of going to kill people? Do you go with the mind of hurting people? Don't you know that when you, especially to those who don't drive their own vehicles, when you destroy this car, it's an economic problem. You have killed dreams of some people. And so for me, how we come here is the discipline part of it, but there is no way we can always wish for good things. Yet us, we have talked here about dumping of garbage, of bottles. People have just ate into something, they are just throwing it in the middle of the road. And really, so the mind, I think there is just too much freedom that we must be told that these are the systems. And I've heard voices that maybe the next president, whoever comes at one point, should really be somebody who teaches, who will enforce. And maybe that's what they call dictatorship in some languages. Because it's like we have been given too much freedom, but we are losing people. And I heard you talk about the human error. I've always said this. If each driver waited for 1 minute, when you are going to make a move, because when you are driving, you are going to overtake, there are decisions, it's like a move. You are going to make that move. You have seen an opportunity. Sometimes, can you wait for a minute? I saw that bus and I imagine maybe it was in the hills of Kisoro, as you approach Kisoro or Rwanda district. We could have again counted so many people dead. I remember in Kabale, those days when I used to report from Kabale, there were several buses, but one including Jaguar and others, which I think, which were applying on the Rwanda, Uganda, Nairobi route, which could have crossed. They ended up killing so many people, where we would count 54, 60, 70. One time, a driver forgot his side of driving. He was from a different country. When he entered, um, he did what? He went on the right instead of the left. And I can tell you the next it was death. So I think as a country we need to find a way that, yes, we have so many challenges. Talk of the signage. Do people follow signages? You meet somebody, young people, when they are driving, you try to signal them and do what, and then it's a barrage of abuses, and therefore we seem to be we are going to continue losing people. Lastly, driving at night, lighting. Some of the roads are not lit very well. You saw what happened on Guru Highway. Guru Highway is one of those dark places. So I don't know, in terms of infrastructure improvement, if we need to light our roads but for me, it all comes back. Fika Sarama has shown us that the discipline of our people is a bit of one thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Good luck for that. And the question of discipline, very important. And Sam, look, we keep talking about discipline, and one wants to ask, why do we actually find ourselves not just in transport, even in the other sectors, at a point where people do not want to follow the rules, do not want to follow the guidelines, people want to behave recklessly? Is it a question of education? Is it a question of culture? Is it a choice? Is it just being unruly, like many people would want to say? What really causes that in our society, and specifically to the roads? But second and most important, how can we overturn this situation to make sure that now we have a society, we have drivers that actually respond to rules when they see road signs, they know what to do? You've been in Kampala here, and recently there was a campaign, a drive, and many zebra crossings were painted all over the city, but barely do road users respect them. Yes, sir. I don't know. I think there is still an issue with your sound. Maybe perhaps if you can.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I have you now.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think I want to thank my colleagues on what they have talked about. And it is true, the problem we have, especially in the question on what you have asked me on the issue of discipline, is that the weak enforcement of traffic laws is very weak. And also what we normally have forgotten is that you cannot separate politics from transport. So most of borders are affiliated to the government, to security. So it becomes very difficult to enforce discipline among border riders who are also the security operatives. So that contributes to indiscipline. And some of these buses also are operated by politicians. So it also becomes very difficult for a mayor police officer, Phillip, to enforce discipline on a bus company that is operated by a minister. And we also have issues concerning with lack of professionalism. The lack of professionalism is that if a driver is professional, he would not drive a vehicle in dangerous mechanical conditions. But because of the nature of our drivers or the employment of our employment status as now, is that most of these drivers operate as casual laborers. They are not insured under workman's compensation. They are paid per trip. So the day you don't take the bus from Kampala to up country, then you are not paid for. So it forces some of these drivers to work under conditions that doesn't favor them, and then also make them not to be professional. But that's why you see now in fuel or logistics, we have not registered number of crashes with companies transporting fuels, gas, and other cement. We have reduced because it is very dangerous. You'll be blacklisted by the suppliers as since if your fleet is always involved in these crashes. Previously, we used to have Mukwano. Mukwano had painted the whole of Uganda roads with their vehicles, and they have registered zero traffic fatalities. Why? They pay very well their drivers, they schedule them, they know that they are supposed to work for a short time period, and they are disciplined. But why is it the case is happening in border borders and buses? I've mentioned that the law is very weak, and we also don't have specialized traffic courts. Specialized traffic courts would now ensure that there is the responsibility. If the responsibility that you are not repairing vehicles as the owner of the vehicles, then you should be penalized. Why should you blame everything on the driver? Because the driver may not be the one repairing the buses. Why are you making the driver overwork? Why use that this person, you are not, the law says you're supposed to have two drivers for wrong routes. Why is it that you don't have the two drivers? So the issue, we have the issue that we lack, we lack the specialized courts to ensure that it can instill discipline into these transport operators. The blame should not be on the drivers, the blame should be on the owners, the blame should be on the police. Why, as a police officer, why do you check the vehicle that is in dangerous mechanical condition and you leave it to continue the journey? If you are a regulator, why is it that we have seen in other sectors where they are arresting the regulators once they fail to enforce the laws? So there is need to have those specialized courts to ensure that they instill discipline. And then also there is a need to ensure that we have professional drivers who can be paid well remunerated. We need to ensure that we have training facilities, because we don't have training facilities. The next day, we have had information that most of these drivers at night, some are turnmen who are learning to drive, and nobody mentions it. That's how they learn. How do you see? Where do we don't have a single facility for training heavy vehicles. Once you want to add in a class, you just get a canter and you train and add. They give you a class for heavy vehicle. But how can you train on a canter and then you'll be able to drive a pulling trailer? So most of these people learn on the job. And also training, you have not seen even someone when he has, within 1 week, has acquired a permit. He's supposed to put the learner's signage on the vehicle, so that when you are following a person who has recently acquired a driving license, you're supposed to know that this is a learner until it may be for 3 months. But here someone will just go in the driving school, get a license, the next day he starts transporting passengers, and within 1 week. And those are issues that police does not publish such kind of investigations. Investigations are very important as they work to ensure that if those reports were shared, the public would improve on the discipline. But there is a total mess in terms of enforcing those regulations, the training, the remuneration, and all these. It's not, you cannot blame one side. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Sam, for that. And Mr. Katabazi, one of the things Sam talks about here is, and police has continued to say this, that you people as drivers of both small and other truck drivers insist on driving vehicles that are in dangerous mechanical conditions. And one would want to ask, this does not only endanger the life of the other users of the road, but yourself who is driving this vehicle. Why do you insist on this choice, endangering your life? But two, we've had, there was an interview, I think, from some of the representatives of bus drivers, and they are saying, we drive long distances. But maybe it is about time bus companies think about having for the long distances 2 drivers for a specific distance, so that when one is tired, they are able to replace and get another one who is still fresh and sober to continue with the journey. What is the position from your end as a truck driver in that one? And they, of course, some here talked about how you want to get extra routes so that you are paid more and making sure you are earning, but endangering the life. Mr. Katabazi, how do you respond to some of those issues?
DMC. Let me start with the DMC. Dangerous. Those vehicles in the or in the dangerous mechanical conditions. I will also wonder why a traffic officer would cautioning that's even taking the number plate from the vehicle and then leave it to take passengers, or leave it to take its goods, even to be on the road. I wish some things, maybe we could copy them from us out of Uganda, because there is no manner where you think that I'm not able to be on the road, and then you caution me and let me also proceed on the road. That's totally dangerous. You are endangering those people in the same vehicle and even other vehicles which are coming, going to pass you. So you are putting it to drivers that it's the drivers who even put these vehicles with dangerous mechanical condition on the road. Yes, I would say yes and no. Yes, why? Because we are the one driving them. No, because that these vehicles, sometimes the owners who are supposed to be cautioned are not cautioned. You caution the driver. And in fact, when I leave this truck, when I leave this bus, when I leave this car home, that means I'm not going to earn. So I'd rather be on the road, maybe, and have something at the end of the day to take to my what? To take to my people home. Because even if I leave it, another person is going to come. That's why I said that, because we don't have a mechanism how one becomes a driver. That's even the reason why even up to now, our salary is still very low. Some mentions about Mokwana. I can also tell you about another company like Viva. Viva registered 0% accident-free last year, 2024. Do you know why? It's paying its drivers properly. They are training their drivers properly. Each and every week, those who are found in the yard, they have to go what we call toolbox. Toolboxes are like a training. Yeah. People have to talk about the experience for that week, and then if anyone can even pick from there. And maybe tomorrow starts to also be cautioned on the road. When I had my brother, Goodluck, saying that Fika Salama was, to me, Fika Salama was even, anyway, we all know what Fika Salama is, but I don't think that Fika Salama is the solution to crashes on the road, because we all know what it even brought. I would think that instead of putting Fika Salama, let the government use CSOs to have roadside tents. We could caution our drivers, involve the associations of truckers, buses, and everybody. Let them be on the road with the police. We could caution them, because when you figure Salam, everybody is going to know that these people are here, then I have to slow here, and then after them, I have again to cruise. And then I reach another point, I slow where they are, and then again I cruise. Fika Salama is not the what? It's not the what? It's not a solution. But discipline on the road, I would think the government would use the CSOs. CSOs come to our association and then we find some solutions of roadside tents. We could even tell someone in Mitiana, before Mitiana, we could put a tent in Mitiana and question the person who maybe used the road badly and at a certain point maybe under without even knowing, because we can't put cameras on each and every spot, otherwise cameras would do. I can give another example, which normally some truckers use, those foreigner trucks, that Uganda hakuna sharia. But do you think Uganda hakuna sharia? We have the laws, and we have very good laws than them. But because even the enforcing in Uganda also is also a problem. One is called, and then another is calling, and then the officer is saying it is above, who is telling me to release this person, more than cautioning him. We have also to have that to stop the habit of one calling to request for someone to be released because he's above. That's also another problem which we are finding. There are a lot of things. If we have to improve on the road, we have to stop. And then,
All right.
lastly, when I'm winding up here, some mentioned about the tire what? The tire. Tires on the what? Tires on the vehicles. Do you know that also tires in Uganda have also contributed to many fatal, I repeat, to many fatal crashes here? You find that even trucks have also got banned. The whole truck got banned because of the problem of the tire. You've seen buses which caught fire because of the tires. Tires also are also contributors of accidents here. Don't look at one going down the ditch. Look at even other trucks or buses getting even burnt on the road. Those are the issues where even I think Banasam, which is coming up with the tire safety management, and then we can see with what to follow it up. And I even request for those people who are there, also to even support it. Let's start one phase, we finish it, another phase, finish it. But discipline must be emphasized. We are looking at a person buying a car and putting on bagger, so that tomorrow he has to knock on the border off the road, or he will knock one Isaac on the road, or I will knock you, Phillip, because we have put borrow bars on my car. What are they for?
Thank you so much. And you talk about the tires. Sam here says he's running the campaign on the tires and things to do with how they are supposed to be. Hopefully, more interaction between all of us would be very important in building up on that campaign. But also, you talk about the bullying on the road. And recently, we had the Deputy Speaker in Parliament saying, you people that drive very big cars, and he was specific to I think Sinotrack saying that they bully people off the road, and he says they nearly ran over him one of the days, and he was saying there should be something done to regulate that sort of bullying from people that are in very, very big cars. Hopefully something will be done in that line. But Goodluck, I come back to you. And again, the challenges are there. They are huge. There are many, but what do we do, especially now when we talk about narrow roads? Are we actually able to go over that challenge in the short term? When we talk about the discipline, are we able to overturn that in the short term? What do we do to make sure at least we manage the situation so that we look at a strategic plan that can solve the problem for good?
Thank you very much. I don't think about the narrow roads. For me, that is the problem. Because what I've seen is that you can always, whenever there is something, you find that some of these roads can even take 4 cars at a go. They are not meant, they are meant for 2, but they can take 3 or 4. So sometimes the space is not the problem. The problem is about me, the driver, who thinks I want to go so fast, better than others. I want to do things my own way. And I don't want to, to look at others as human beings. So for me, it goes again back to the discipline. Now, the discipline is the enforcement. So for me, as to whether we know there is a roadblock at Chideka, there is a roadblock at Namamve, at wherever, that is not the problem. Let the roadblocks be there. Because also when you say that, yes, I agree, CSOs should be engaged, because one of the things is that people who regulate themselves are better. But I can assure you there are rag drivers, especially who are in the armed forces, who are driving government, whatever. I don't know how whatever the association will be able to control some of these people. So it should be a mix of all solutions at the end of the day, that we deserve better as a country. And me, I'm happy I've listened to everyone speaking because they are involved in the industry, which is so good. But it would be good if the industry regulates itself. But as I said, Ugandans, we are far away from some of these things. We just wish for others. When we go in elsewhere, we think we should be like that, but we can't. So for me, it can't even be a political issue. It can't be anything that that's a solution. We have one solution. But at the end of the day, like as I said, we have ministries like health which have tried to, they gave Red Cross 10 10 or 12 brand new Land Cruisers Type B ambulances to be on the roads in case of any problem, that our people can be rescued. So for me, those are the quick things. Since the industry players seem to be saying so, so for me, it's until when if we can't blame ourselves, then how do we blame others? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Good luck for that. And maybe in the spirit of people that have made a contribution, I think we also have the team from CBS Radio, a specific show called Kalisoliso, who organize the Kalisoliso dinner every year to mobilize funds for construction of an emergency wing at Mkozi Hospital for specifically people that get accidents from along that road, and many others that make a contribution. We continue to send our thanks to them and say that spirit should continue. Mr. Bambanza, as we near the close of the conversation, what recommendations would you give to persons in the Ministry of Works and Transport and to the Uganda Police in terms of having to see this challenge overturned and having safety on our roads?
Thank you very much. I think our government knows what to do. We have worked on more than 30 traffic regulations amendment 2023. I cannot mention all of them. We have trained, most of these people have participated in workshops. They are trained professionals. Police has trained them. And Goodluck talked about that this is not a political issue. This is political issue. You cannot separate transport from politics until we have political commitment. Political commitment to ensure that there are funds for creating awareness. We don't have a national round-the-year campaigns across the country. We normally have 1 week, a one-day campaign, and we stop from there. But road safety is like going to a church every day. You have to preach, you have to preach, you have to preach. Assume now if the churches were just going once in a year, we just go in the church, what would happen in the Mororos? So if the president can come out clear and say, I don't want borders violating traffic violations, that nonsense would stop. If these people who are parking on pavements, the sirens, who are overtaking the ministers, the UPDF, reckless. You remember when Mohoz had raised the issue, that thing had stopped. That thing would stop immediately. if the police can be allowed to do their work, so that there is no influence from politicians who operate these buses and they are prostituted, you'll see sanity on the road. The speaker should allocate budget for the road safety awareness. We don't have road safety awareness. The government it takes it as a for them, as politicians, they would want to see a bridge. Huh? So we have each and everything that is needed. But if the president can come out clearly and say there is a road safety fund, there is no longer no impunity, borders we must comply, there is no traffic violation, we'll see the numbers reducing. Why is Rwanda, are we benchmarking from Rwanda? It is because of political will and support. So the government, we all have the facilities, the people knows what to do, only that we need the political support, and most of the budgets are done from it is the cabinet that passes those budgets. But we all have everything that can reduce this carnage in the country. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you so much, Mr. Bambanza. And Mr. Katabazi, any advice, recommendation from you as we conclude the conversation?
I totally support Sam that politics is everywhere. Politics is in transport. And until we get a directive from the president, I think that's the only way we are going to reach the 2030 with a minimum percentage of crashes. But if not, still again, we are still having problems. Look at what we are having now. We are having new borders, and new people are coming in. Where are the old ones? Where are they phased out? Or they're still in the market? That means each and every day, if we are buying border, that means we are also creating another person on the road. But have you trained them to be on the road? No. Look at Bujumbura now. Bujumbura has no border in town. But isn't it safe? And people walking? Go back to COVID, when it was only truckers and those responsible people to be on the road. That's even when we got to know that we are the economy movers as truckers. Do you want us to be, the directive to come that let all buses be applying daytime? Don't you think it's going to work? And even the bus owners, why don't you employ 2 people in a bus which goes to Kisoro? You want a driver to reach Kisoro and then get back to Kampala. Do you think, are you now implying that you are putting people at risk? Don't you think so? Anyway, always I'm welcome to be joining you guys. And, hope next time you give us also a chance to talk about tires as some requested and more to share, inshallah. Thanks, Phillip.
All right. We shall be honored to have you. Mr. Isaac Katabazi, Mr. Musinguzi, Goodluck, and Mr. Sam Bambanza, thank you so much for your thoughts, for your experience, for your recommendations, and thank you so much for making time to join the conversation today here on Community Voices Uganda at Civic Space TV. Thank you to you, our viewers. Thank you for keeping it Civic Space TV, and thank you to all our partners that contribute to making sure these conversations continue happening, and of course, to the technical team that puts this work together. Thank you so much. My name is Phillip Muliisa, and I shall see you next time.